The Quantum Philosophy of a Graffiti Artist. I mean, how cool is that title? We're going to connect some dots today that you probably never thought would connect. Spray paint, quantum mechanics, and a really singular artistic mission. It's a journey that starts on the streets and ends, well, somewhere way out there with the fundamental building blocks of the universe.
And the whole thing is guided by this idea right here. This quote from Mother Teresa. It feels like it's from a completely different world than graffiti culture, doesn't it? But for the artist we're talking about, this is everything. It's this deep sense of humility, of service, of being a channel for something way bigger than himself.
So that's the big question for us today. How in the world does a life that kicks off with spray cans and street crews evolve to embrace quantum physics and a philosophy of, like, sacred craft? Let's dive in and really unpack this amazing paradox.
Yeah, we are talking about the life and the mind of Anthony Vella, who goes by the artist name Jaws. And his story is just this powerful fusion of worlds that seem like they should contradict each other. But for him, they create something totally unique.
See, Jaws isn't just one thing. He's a painter, a calligrapher, a rapper, a writer, and a thinker. This is a guy who finds inspiration in everything from ancient manuscripts to, space-time physics. And you got to remember that multidisciplinary approach. It is absolutely key to understanding his work. But to get how he got to this point, we have to rewind. We've got to go back to the beginning. Before all the philosophy and the physics, his entire identity was forged in the fire of graffiti culture. This is where the foundation for everything, and I mean everything, was laid.
His journey really kicks off his freshman year of high school. He joins the graffiti crew OHK. And for him, this wasn't just about rebellion or anything like that. He calls it his initiation into a life of visual communication. He started getting his name, Jaws, out there across a bunch of different crews. And all the while, he was studying the masters of the craft, like this guy, Dime, whose super complex 3D style really pushed him toward precision and thinking about structure.
And what's really fascinating is what he learned back then. The streets taught him a code, a way to be an artist. You got to be bold, you got to be original, you have to constantly evolve your style, and you have to operate with a real purpose and a clear mission. These aren't just rules for graffiti, they're principles for life.
But, the streets had their limits. As his world got bigger, his artistic needs did too, and that pushed him toward this huge transition, moving from the crazy, chaotic energy of the outdoors to the focused, quiet space of the studio. This lays it out perfectly. I mean, think about it. The street is all about improvisation, battling the weather, working on the fly. But Jaws started feeling this pull towards something deeper, more structured. He wanted that control and that meditative focus you can only really get in a studio.
So what's he do? He goes out and gets formal training. He enrolls in a sign painting program and just dives headfirst into the classical, super disciplined craft of lettering. And this is where that raw street talent got sharpened by traditional technique. It really unlocked a love for structure and for precision.
And that formal training, it didn't replace his street background at all. It fused with it. And that led to his core philosophy, that all studies inform all others. And you can see this idea woven through literally every single aspect of his creative work. He took that discipline straight into fine art, working with stuff like oil paints to explore completely new textures and compositions, a long, long way from the brick walls where he started.
And that love of lettering? Oh, it just exploded. It blossomed into this total mastery of calligraphy. We're talking everything from fancy script and blackletter to classic Roman forms. He sees it all as part of one unified artistic identity. And this cross-pollination, this mixing of ideas, it totally extends to his music. As a rapper, he bridges that gritty, street-level storytelling with some really deep philosophical reflection. It's the exact same fusion of worlds that you see in his visual art. And get this, his ambition with music is just incredible. He is studying multiple languages with the goal of actually recording and performing in all of them. And it's not a gimmick. It was actually sparked by watching a South Korean friend of his show so much courage starting a new life, and it gave him this deep, deep respect for global communication.
But his creativity doesn't stop with painting and music. No way. Jaws is also a world builder, literally constructing entire fictional universes that bring all of his passions together.
And this is where the quantum mechanics comes in. He created a whole mythology called Quark Force, and it's populated by these playful, kind of surreal characters. It's born directly from him studying physics, but it's filtered through his really unique sense of humor. So it's kind of silly and profound all at the same time, but it's grounded in real scientific curiosity. So, okay, we've got a painter, a calligrapher, a musician, and a world builder. What is the one thing that ties all of these different pursuits together? Well, it's a really clear, powerful mission that drives every single thing he does.
So it all boils down to this 4-part commitment. It doesn't matter if he's holding a spray can, a paintbrush, or a microphone, the goal is always the same: to bring joy, to create clarity, to explore truth, and maybe most importantly, to translate the invisible, whether that's an emotion, a quantum concept, or a spiritual idea, into something tangible that you can feel.
And this is his journey. Right there in a nutshell, it's this amazing transformation from what he himself calls a cutty and gutter thug into this incredibly disciplined philosopher-artist who just seamlessly blends the wisdom of the street with the rigor of the library and the lab.
And he leaves us with this really powerful idea. True originality, it isn't about inventing something totally out of thin air. It's about that unique fusion, that unique combination that only you can create from your life, your skills, your perspective. So the big takeaway here isn't just about his journey. It's a question for all of us, really. What's the unreplicable combination that defines your voice?